from Secular Proton is, should the institution of marriage exist? And should polygamy be allowed? And the condition of that being assuming both genders can participate in it, not just men. Yes and yes for me. I have certain concerns. Well, I think technically polygamy, the word itself, may actually be, by definition, men married multiple women. I think it's something else for when it's a woman marrying multiple men. Anyways, I do have certain concerns about the legality of polygamy, just because I think there are a lot of, this is very US centric, fundamentalist religious groups who practice polygamy where it can be a very abusive practice. So I would want to try to think of a way to ensure that that would not be abused in some capacity. I'm not sure what that would look like, but I do have a slight hesitation there. But yes, I definitely think the institution of marriage should exist. I think civil marriage, the conception of civil marriage as a secular achievement, should be maintained. I think I actually have like kind of slightly conservative views on this. I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. Mainly just because I'm very focused on the legal protections and rights that are ensured to spouses. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I think that marriage should be expanded. I think the utility of marriage is for you to be able to signal to the government and to the legal system that certain person is now within your family, and that person has now the relationship with you is now different than other people, and that they should have certain legal rights, certain protections, certain accessibility to you. And I think that you should be, so that's the, I know the history of marriage was something else. The history of marriage was like, I own you now and I get to have sex with you no matter what you say. But I didn't say that was like, I'm just talking about the history of what marriage was. But now it has utility. It has a different meaning and a different utility. And I think that utility should be expanded to not just people who are, couples. It should be like, I don't know, there should be some limitations, but it should be any two people, or not two people, any 4 or 5 people, even if they're not having sex with each other, even if they're not a couple. I think like I think the idea of people who you have some blood relationship with, all of a sudden they have certain legal rights, and then I think it should be that is just like, I think, very traditional way of looking at the world. Like, why does this person who happens to be my brother or sister has certain rights, with relationship to me, and this person that I feel closer to, maybe as a couple or a brother or a sister, doesn't? Like, I think this whole concept of being able to bring somebody into your circle as your family member should be expanded to beyond just marriage. It should be there should be some cost associated with it, because people shouldn't be able to just play with it just willy-nilly. I don't know exactly how it's done. I don't know. The world is not ready for it. I think like people should be able to be like, us 5 now, we're a family now. Legally, we're a family now. Not just like family as in we're like feel like a family. We're just a family. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think like in the future, people should be able to be free to determine who's their family legally, and give those rights to those people beyond just husband and wife. And that should be more important than me having a blood relationship with somebody like brother or sister. Go on.
So you're kind of like talking about being able to make someone's chosen family actually have legal abilities, like towards maybe your medical procedures and stuff, or decision making. How would
inheritance, decision making, medical.
how would just this general configuration of, oh, my chosen family, sorry, how would this, like, my chosen family be distinguished from an actual marriage situation? Because there are different rights from a spouse versus kinship.
I think marriage should just be replaced with like, I think the marriage today is just like one contract right now. Like it seems like one legal agreement. I just think like this is just too unflexible. I just think like there should be like, I don't know, 20 different kinds of legal relationships you want to have with family members, and you could choose, like I have 6.
I'm confused. This seems very complicated.
Well, I mean, is just more freedom. I just feel like, to the person A, I want to give the rights to, medical, blah, blah, this and this and that. To person B, I want to have like this kind of legal relationship with. To person A, it's a 5-year thing and it will expire within 5 years. Person B is a 10-year thing and it will expire unless we renew it in 10 years. Like, I just think like it's just more freedom because you have more options, and you could, play around with it more. And, I just think like just having this one thing that we call marriage that was based on, the reason why we didn't throw it away is not because the tradition that it came from had utility. It's because we changed it to something else that has legal utility right now. I just think like we could continue changing it even more to just create legal relationships with people who are special to us in our lives, that is just based on utility rather than something that has traditional sentimental value to us, right? And I'm not saying that we're ready for that right now. I don't think like there's like the infrastructure and the emotional. I don't think society is there right now at all. I just think like if we're just looking at it from purely a utilitarian perspective, that's where we should be heading. And I think like eventually maybe like you could even make it automatic and put it on blockchain. I don't know.
I'm having flashbacks to you having a rant about marriage on the blockchain.
No.
When we were working each other.
No, I just think like I'm just, when it comes to you finding somebody special in your life, it could be special for many different reasons, right? And the legal mumbo jumbo does not make your relationship with them more or less significant. The legal mumbo jumbo is just so that you and that person do not have legal barriers between you, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not the like, for example, what the utility, it's like some people, I don't believe in marriage. If you want to be with somebody, just be with somebody. Well, the person that you want to be with through marriage, now there's some legal barriers between you that is removed. Mm-hmm. That in times of crisis, you might need those legal barriers removed, right? So there is some utility to marriage. It's not just like a traditional thing. But I'm just saying, like, why do we have that only through marriage? That should, like, what is this, like, why is this connected to this traditional historical thing that we're not separating it from? Everybody should, like, this should be accessible to people, like, maybe that they don't even feel like they're couples. Maybe two people just feel so close that they just feel like two sisters, you know what I mean? And they just want to be with each other forever, and they're not even remotely attracted to each other, but they just find each other special, and they just want to be a family together, right? Like, why is this only like this utility of this kind of legal barriers being removed should be available to in so many different other ways? That's what I think.
Okay, so this like new kinship wouldn't have a distinction above what we now call marriage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, for everyone in the live chat, I would ask your questions after we get through the patron questions, because otherwise I'm going to it's going to be a while. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe. Link in the description below.